Hello everyone, March W13 here, and tonight we'll be dining at Picasso, among Las Vegas's most traditional fine dining establishments. I've dined here before, but this will be my first full review of the restaurant. And as you can see, Picasso is located on the same wing as the Via Bellagio shops. It's on the lakeside, and you simply descend the escalator and turn left into the restaurant. Rather than seat you right when you arrive, you are ushered into a lounge just beyond the hostess stand where you wait with other customers. My wait was only around 1 to 2 minutes this evening, but there's enough time to take stock of the layout of the restaurant and its decor, which consists of several genuine Picasso works. Thank you. And once you're seated, you immediately notice a great attention to detail, all based on the Picasso theme with various avant-garde touches. And one of the more interesting aspects of Picasso is its multiple dining options. There is a dégustation menu and a prix-fixe with variations within each option, the primary difference coming down to the number of courses and the number of choices left to the diner. And the wine menu is presented on a tablet. This is the sparkling wine menu that we're going to look at now. Many fine diners begin their meal with some champagne. And you are provided with a selection of bread. I couldn't really hear the attendant through the mask, but I believe there's a baguette, some sort of raisin bread, and some green onion bread. And I must say, this bread, while undoubtedly rustic and beautiful, was pretty dry overall, although I'd say the raisin was the clear standout. Comparatively speaking, this is a rather traditional restaurant serving older-style French food, and so we start with a fairly simple but elegant amuse-bouche, a pheasant croquette with tomato uni sauce and potato leek soup. The soup was chilled with a surprisingly smooth and thin consistency of almost whole milk, with no discernible potato-like texture, but surprises are what keep fine dining a captivating experience. The croquette was not the best I've had, but pleasantly crisp on the outside, and yet again a surprisingly smooth texture on the inside, almost a pureed potatoes. On the balance, this was quite a restrained but elegant amuse-bouche. And I tell you, the ambiance here is quiet, old-school elegant like you often see in movies. Our first course this evening is a pata negra jamón ibérico de bellota, commonly known as the finest ham in the world. The pigs are free-range and acorn-fed, and the ham is aged, which yields a superior product that is smooth in texture and beautifully marbled. And I think the best way to describe this jamón ibérico de bellota is that it's like a fatty cured bacon with some nuttiness that likely derives from the bellotas or acorns. The greens were nicely bitter and the crostini were perfectly toasted. The combination of salty ham and fresh herbaceous bruschetta was good, but the ham is the real star here and you really have to eat it alone to appreciate its greatness. Now, does the ham taste like $1,000,000? Honestly, no, but it is amazing. Salty, smoky, fatty, and shaved thin to the point of translucence, like a carpaccio. The first pairing of the evening was a Palomino sherry from the south of Spain, and you definitely get a fragrant green apple bouquet behind typical fortified sherry notes. It almost smells like candy, but I'll admit my sherry palate is rather unrefined. It tastes a bit smoky and bitter with some juicy fruity freshness. The nuttiness and saltiness of the ham was complemented surprisingly well by the sherry, although a regular Spanish wine like a Rioja would probably have been a better pairing with the overall dish. The next wine was a Domaine Wachau Grüne Veltliner from Austria, just northwest of Vienna. Grüners are classic pairings with bitter greens like asparagus, and this one was particularly minerally and spicy, with fresh acidity, but with a great deal of black pepper on the palate. And the tuna tartare was interesting. The waitress seemed surprised they changed the tuna from a paper-thin carpaccio-like cut, which apparently boosted the portion size, but there were some fundamental issues with this dish. Although the tuna was extremely fresh, it was under-seasoned and the citrus packed much less of a punch than it needed to. While some bites were better and more seasoned than others, it was uneven. It needed more brightness, more acidity, which was compensated for somewhat by the acidity of the wine, but all in all, this was a rather pedestrian dish making me regret not having ordered the gnocchi. Now, the important question is, can we turn things around with this lobster dish? And fortunately, the answer is yes, we can. This butter poached lobster was cooked perfectly, and there was so much of it, while the supporting cast here was equally awe-inspiring. Corn sauce blended harmoniously with the sweetness of the lobster. The beans had a cooked all day richness and depth. The delicate and nuanced flavors throughout the dish made it by far the best of the night. Unlike other dishes, there wasn't a single component I changed. Even the black garlic caviar, though not very pronounced, enhanced the aesthetic beauty of the plate. And the wine, particularly its citrus notes, further elevated the dish. This was a Chateau Ducasse 2020 White Bordeaux, which retails for about $20, made from a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon grapes. And the wine, like the dish, was balanced. There was a pronounced grapefruit bouquet with hints of strawberry and spice. There was also a bit of oak, and the Sauvignon Blanc DNA really shines through. This was certainly a very sippable wine, but both the complementary citrus notes and the more contrasting elements really elevated the food pairing. And another advantage of the pre-feast menu is that you get to choose your own dessert. Although the wine pairing doesn't cover dessert, so if you want wine, you have to order it a la carte. And that's precisely what I did. On the recommendation of the waitress, I ordered a Kracher Late Harvest, and this is a Spätlese wine from Austria, a Riesling derivative. It boasts a bouquet that is reminiscent of a Sauterne, and it has the same syrupiness and stone fruit notes, but with much more freshness and acidity. This one was a refreshing change of pace for me, a dessert wine with a twist. And as for the dessert itself, it was a Grand Marnier soufflé, which was light and bursting with vanilla, caramelized to perfection on the outside. I've had a few soufflés in my time, and this one was one of the best desserts I've had in Las Vegas, period. It paired beautifully with the acidic dessert wine, and the gelato was reminiscent of chocolate milk, but with nicely textured bittersweet cocoa bits that I just wish were slightly crispier. The Grand Marnier wasn't that prominent, but what little citrus was there enhanced the interplay with the wine. So all that's left is to dig in. The cappuccino came with an assortment of mignardises. The macaron was less than stellar, but the lemon drop melted in my mouth with surprising subtlety. The dark chocolate truffle was a bit too alcoholic and oddly fruity, while the mini bundt cake was just plain rubbery and bland. So what can we say about Picasso? Well, it's not as innovative or trendy as some other Vegas restaurants, and there aren't as many courses as A or Joël Bouchon or Guy Savoy, but it was nonetheless the best Las Vegas meal I've had in quite some time. And I definitely recommend the 4-course pre-feast menu, which can best be termed as a sort of choose-your-own adventure. Unlike other tasting menus, which may provide only 1 or 2 choices to diners, you can come back again and again to this restaurant and choose a different combination of items every single time. And they provide you with this lovely parting gift, which you can enjoy as a midnight snack or the next day. Well, that does it for this review of Picasso Las Vegas at the Bellagio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have occasion to visit Picasso, please let me know what you think. Until next time, happy eats. Marsh W13 out.